Alright, welcome back to Nickeling. This comic corner classic, lesson known classic. This episode number 3185. Doubleshot number 3079. Both these two books are written people who written the Batman titles. First one, this guy wrote Nightwing, and of course he was the original writer for the. He was the first of three writers for the second volume for Deathstroke. Before he got fired, replaced Rob Liefeld, and then James Amos finished the title. Then someone else finished the title. I think it was I don't remember who finished it, but yeah. As for why he got fired from the title, not sure why. We have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Volume 4. I actually have not reviewed this yet. Yep. This book collects issues 17 to 20 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Of course, written by... If I can find the thing here. Here we go. Written by Kyle Higgins. Artwork by a few different artists. Here we have Hendry Priscilla, who does basically 13, 14, 16. 15 is done by Dan Balas. The cover is by Johnny Maltus. Yeah. It's been a little while since I reviewed... Actually, it wasn't 17 to 1720. It was actually 13 to 16. Yeah, I've actually... For the original Mighty Power Rangers book, I'm actually almost done with it. I've got like a few more books left to go for, and I'm pretty much done. In the case of the spin-off series, The Bonds Go-Go Power Rangers, I did look it up. Apparently, I viewed most of the series, except I do have one more trade left to go for this one, and then we're done with that particular book. Mighty Morphin, I've only viewed just the first two trades of that one. For Power Rangers, I've viewed Volume 1, Volume 3, and I reviewed Volume 6. So for Power Rangers, I have about 3 more trades. For Mighty Morphin, I have 4 trades left. For the original Power Rangers series, I have exactly, at this point, I think it's like 2. Yes. So in these issues here, it's kind of in a way a lead-in. It's basically a prologue into Shattered Grid. So we start out basically where it is at Rita's palace, where Goldar, or basically we see a replica of Goldar, but removing his armor. Yep. So, and then we have the Rangers, basically Billy, Tommy, in the world of the Coinless. The Coinless is basically the world where, in this reality of Power Rangers, where Tommy did become, he basically was brainwashed to be evil, in like he was in the Prime series, but in this universe he stayed evil despite the spell being broken. And also in this universe, they had a White Ranger happen here too, except it was Jason who essentially chose White Ranger, not Tommy. And that's why we have Saba here. Despite that in main continuity, Tommy didn't meet Saba until season 2 of the show, White Light. So this Saba is an alternate universe Saba. Saba's in the majority of this book, and of course he speaks normally. I remember in the main series he didn't talk very much at all. Like, he talked sporadically, but it wasn't like every single time he showed up he had to speak. He spoke a lot more in Die Ranger, his counterpart there, than he did over in Power Rangers. Probably because also, basically, every time he spoke is basically Japanese dialogue compared to English dialogue. So, they're at their base, where it looks like we see the mammoth coin. So, they do reveal what happened to Billy in here. In this world, Billy died as a hero. So apparently also that Rita disappeared at some point, and Tommy took control, and he's older, he's got both veins. Scorpina's working with him too. Yeah, as for what happened to Rita, it's not exactly very clear what happened during the course. Basically, up here for war. And by the way, the Rangers' powers were taken, so they can morph, but they can't go to primary colors. They look all green. So there's training between, I think it's Zach and Tommy. And so basically that's when they explain the whole thing with Billy. Also, Bulkus work with them, and eventually, like, oh, Rita's got an army of Goldars about the attack. Also, they have it where, like, someone puts on the black armor, the dragon armor that. Oh yeah, and apparently also in this world, like, apparently like they had Zords, so they had this army fight against them, and at first they summoned like the Falcon Zord. And of course, the dinosaurs basically are beaten. Yes, and eventually have the Rangers. Well, after the Falcon Zord was taken out. Yeah. And of course, basically, is like. Basically, we have somebody brought before Rita. Based up on the figure. Of course, Rita's in. Basically, she's taking over the command center. I think it's possibly Trini on the helmet. Yes. So, and of course, working at Zordon back has been lost for a bit. Yes, so they kind of do show that they did have, apparently in this world, they had the Thunder Zords. Then they had the, then apparently new allies are the Phantom Ranger and the Blue Centaurian and Ninjor. Blue Centaurian was killed by Evil Tommy. So they crafted Saba, and they crafted the White Tiger Zord and the Falcon Zord, and they're eventually taken out very quickly. And, yeah, ruin the world. That's a bit more explanation about the world of the Coinless. So, I mean, you see the Turtle Zord there too, but this Zord here, I think this was, we have one Zord still alive. So, Tommy does explain something. Of course, we have the Pterodactyl Zord being attacked by Goldar, and then we have look like Trini puts on the black dragon armor once again, and we have fighting, and we have Tommy versus Tommy, which is really cool. Which some people do love Tommy versus Tommy. Fun fact: did you know there's actually an episode of Mighty Power Rangers Season 3 where you had Tommy as the White Ranger fight Tommy as the Green Ranger? Yes. In the show, they explained the reason why this was able to happen was because a wizard stole a sample of Tommy's hair and cloned him. And he had the powers of the Green Ranger. And they had where they go back in time, and they had to leave Tom in the past. He called by Tom except Tommy. And that was the first and only time. Now, that was adapted from Cockering, the episode, but the fight scene was completely original. Oh yeah, then eventually, like, they all jump in here. Everyone's all reunited, get the powers back, then Goldar back, and then Draken, who has apparently ended up in the Prime Universe. And he's surrounded, he's like, where am I? And then he is arrested by the U.S. military. Very interesting ending to this book. And then that storyline. Then we have some funny stuff with Squat and Babu. And that's it. This book is fantastic. I give this book a 9 out of 10. Really good. I can't wait to discuss the rest of that book. Next up we have is The Penguin, Volume 2, All Bad Things. This collects issues 8 through 12 of the Penguin series. Now, I initially thought this was ongoing, given the fact that it was still published, and then it just ended at only 12 issues. Like, was DC planning to only just be 12 issues, or was it meant to be ongoing? I don't know. Now, of all the Batman villains, who is not the Joker or Harley Quinn, I would definitely say that Penguin fits perfectly for an ongoing series. And reading this is like, yeah, he fits perfectly given his own book. I mean, he's a great character. The fact we also have his children here, which they, well, I'll get to that. Written by Tom King, art by Rafael Del Dori. which I kind of wish they included that in the story 150 because that basically talks about Oz and Cobblepot's family. So we open up with Jim Gordon at a crime scene. Yeah, then of course basically the Penguin, of course, basically just a guy who, of course, the hot dog man is like, recognize me? He's like, I'm sorry, hear me? Thank you. You're the Penguin. Indeed. I know, like a hot dog. Yep. Yeah, you can see the fact that the Penguin is a celebrity. Well, in sort of a bad sense, but yeah, he's afraid of him, yes, but it's funny. And of course, this guy runs up with like the dog, like petting, like, come on, why would you kill your dog? Nope, it's fine. And then we have a guy try to kill penguins, like, think about it, I didn't hear you. Everybody ramped it. And he's talking about his kids. And then he gets a visit while he's eating at a restaurant by himself very quietly. And then the Riddler shows up. Yes, the Riddler. A little fun fact, these two don't like each other very much at all. Not really. We would have where he sits down at Oswald's table, drinks his glass a little bit, eats some of his food. He's like, Edward, riddle me this. You're smarter than I am. Hell, you're smarter than the bat. You give Lex and the terrific run for the calculations. And yet, why doesn't anyone take you seriously? You think I take you seriously? I'm not making fun. I have a solution. Which is more, I suspect, you. What's the solution? It was a great deal more than half. And then he proceeds to kick him out of his chair. It's like, you're entirely correct, Edward. My children are predictable. At least in standing you to test me. After the pathetic assassin tried to trip over his own gun. When you go back to him, you can talk. Get them a message for me. From their ever-loving father. I'm going to kill them. Painfully. Is that much you can remember? Repeat myself? Very important? I'm sure it's fine. You'll get it right. You're very smart. And the Penguin is, yeah, he wants to murder little kids. For reasons. And then he's nearly strangled by, of all people, Batman. Yep, and of course making the deal, no problem. And he goes to see basically his daughter, Addison, who, now Penguin, by all appearances, looks like a man probably in his 50s or 60s by appearances wise. Addison looks like she's about 40-ish, but she looks pretty good for her age. Yeah, and also the end of the issue, Aiden, apparently his son, was killed at the end of issue 8. Names Arkham. Aiden Cobblepot, Alice Cobblepot, lies. Well, I told you when you wouldn't like it. You now names include yours. You got a tooth. Maybe your Oswald. Ma'am, Batman, please. Arkham's out. Names. Or pavement. You're like, why the heck was he wanting to murder the Penguin for? Oh, and also they reference them in the book. Basically, it's like, you know, he broke my nose so many times. Like, do you know how many times he broke my nose? He's like, no. This is the 37th time he broke my nose. Yes. And then he sees his girl here. And also, for some reason, the artist draws Batman look a bit old. Like, he looks older than he's supposed to be. He's like, it's supposed to be in the future? It's not really known. And the Penguin has a round of sex with his girlfriend. Then, of course, we had the Black Spider show up. Who, by the way, this version's Black Spider is gay. Yep, and then, of course, where this Black goes to sleep, wakes up, by polar bears, and then, of course, basically, like, he's about to be killed, but look how he's going to survive. And then we have the agent who swears, and then we have Lisa St. Clair, who apparently, according to her, she knows her cousin, my other cousin, Silver. I'm thinking, there's no Silver St. Clair. The only Silver I know of for Batman comics is Silver St. Cloud. So, is this woman implying that she's Silver St. Cloud's cousin? I'm like, that is interesting because it's not something basically that so this is implying that Silver St. Cloud is this woman's cousin. Not sure how. It's one of those bizarre things related to this woman. It's like, oh, she claims she's Silver Cloud's cousin, despite the fact there's no evidence to prove the fact that she's related at all. Why? Because they all got silver hair. Also, the way this woman is drawn, she looks like she's late 30s. She's like older than Silver. Silver looks always to me very younger. And of course, she's basically talking about his parents' legacy. He doesn't like them much. And then we cut to the Iceberg Lounge. Yes, the Iceberg Lounge. Which, you gotta appreciate the fact that, and then we see a woman named Rita, where, like, is this woman Oswald's mom? Not, let's see. No, they don't really say it all. Like, I think it's fantastic, the fact that they featured the Iceberg Lounge in this book, because when it comes to the Penguin, it's probably the most iconic thing about him. Like, it's a key landmark in the Batman comics. Yeah, and it appears a lot throughout this book. It does not appear in the final issue of the book. You're like, really? Yeah, it doesn't. As for, like, it basically started appearing in this book with issue 5. It was mostly here with issue 11. As for why it's not featured, I don't know, but I've always loved seeing the Iceberg Lounge. And in case you're curious, though, when was the first time this place ever appeared? It first appeared in Detective Comics 683. Who created it? Graham Nolan and Chuck Dixon. And you're like, huh, interesting. Yeah, it just... And people will tend to think that DC craps everything Chuck Dixon creates. The Iceberg Lounge is one thing. I think a lot of people love that so much, they just don't do anything with it. Well, I can't say anything about Tim Drake, but they have this funny bit where Penguin is basically lighting up a cigarette. We have Batman lighting up a cigarette with a matchbox. He's like, thank you, Batman. You're inconsiderate. Of course, he's smoking his long... pipe cigar that he's known for smoking. And you see him talking to Lisa. He's in the bathroom reading the paper, which I pointed this out to my grandma. Basically, she thinks it's kind of weird. Basically, brings him with you in the bathroom. Like, I've seen movies where guys bring newspapers in the bathroom, so what's wrong with reading a book in the bathroom? I don't know, it's weird. Yeah, and also they mentioned that Black Spider's boyfriend said eventually, like, oh yeah, the fact that, so you have Penguin feeding pigeons, and then one of the pigeons is killed by his daughter. Who doesn't do anything to her at all. Though he does later on, then we see Forced to Lie appear here. We see Silver just put out, you see Lee's put on some makeup. Oh yeah, and also the fact that Penguin beats up his own son. Yes, he doesn't do anything to his daughter, but he's willing to beat up his own son. Also, love this variant cover here, which is a clear nod to Danny DeVito. Yep. And this issue 11 is where they bring up the whole thing of how many times has Batman broke his nose? And I'm like, okay, you have my attention, Tom King. Oh yeah, definitely. Like the whole thing, and this is the issue where Aiden Copbot, this is basically this is Copbot, so this is the issue where he officially dies. Yep. Oh yeah, then Lisa leaves town, but she comes back, and then it's like, oh yeah, and Aiden reveals to him that, yeah, we killed your boyfriend last night, yeah? Apparently the man denied the fact that his boyfriend's dead. It's almost like he just didn't care. Oh yeah, and Oswald basically does, and then we have the wonderful image, basically, the artist draws as well. I gotta admit, that's a really good image of the Iceberg Lounge. And the Forced Liar here. Batman shows up, surprisingly does not interact with him at all. And it leads to the final issue of this book, where, also love this cover here, a Penguin using his umbrella as a machine gun. Yeah, and then Batman beats a bunch of thugs. Oh yeah, and then by the end of this issue, his daughter gets killed off. Not by him, no, not necessarily. Yeah, because basically Adeline knows that her father would never lay a finger on her, never. But not the case of this. But not the case of Black Spider. And then we're to Lisa again, and it's like, yeah, he's basically back. We're talking like he was retired. And then Batman wants to goes going. It's like, you go back to the Arkham? Nope. So everybody basically come back in. It's like. Oh, and also for some reason, the way it's written here, Penguin knows Bruce Wayne is Batman. I'm like, when the heck did that happen? Good question. And the book ends basically him just relaxing on a bench in Robinson Park. Quite interesting book. I thoroughly enjoyed this. And DC probably loved the concept of having a villain's 12-issue Max series so much that Two-Face has got one now. Yes, frickin' Two-Face. And you're thinking, yeah, that makes sense. But Tom King's not ready yet. But I would give this book roughly a 9 out of 10. Oh, in case you're curious though, does Penguin not have any more kids? Oh, and also issue 11 they kill off Major Force. Major Victory. Excuse me. Only 2 of his kids were killed off in this book. Addison and Adeline. Addison Aiden. He does have 1 son left. He has other children per se, but he's not completely childless. Yes. There is also Ethan Cobblepot, who debuted in Batgirl. Yeah, his mom, I believe, was basically like, I think it was mentioned his mom was like some waitress that worked at the Iceberg Lounge. Oh, he did appear in Penguin Zero. As a cameo. Though issue 0 was the debut of Addison Aiden. Yeah. But in the case of Ethan Cobblepot, I've kind of in a way covered pretty much all of his appearances. He didn't appear, like, he appeared technically in, like, there's also a thing called recurrence, just basically motion piece. Basically, he only appeared for, like, official, like, one story arc. Known as Son of the Penguin. I mean, he first appeared in Beyond Burnside with issue 6, and then he appeared as the storyline in the Son of Penguin, which lasted from issue 7 through 11 of the Rebirth Batgirl run. It was by far the most interesting idea that they've done with the character. And then here's the weird thing. The guy did appear again to issue 20 of that book. He appears in issue 20. I think appears as he appears as a villain in that issue in Cold Snap Part 2. And then afterwards, he is not seen again until Batman 326 in a backup feature. Yes. Well, actually, Penguin Zero is pretty much in the way a reprint of pretty much basically like the Batman backup stories for Penguin. Basically issues, I think it was like 126, 127. Yeah, that quick two-parter. Forget the comic himself, that was pretty much it. That one issue, 126, that's his most recent appearance today. Yeah, Penguin Zero, which is a reprint. It's a shame that that these trades didn't collect Batman 150. Yeah, I'm surprised about that. Probably because Tom King didn't write it, per se. It's possible. Yes. I would have thought they would include it, but by the way, in case you're curious, it is not in the Dark City trade. It's gonna be the last. It's probably gonna be the last, and I hope so because it's a Chips and Biscuits story. I would have think they would include it because it does tie into this book, per se. As for why, I'm not sure why, but in the case of this book overall, really good. I enjoyed it. Yep, and I'm looking forward to reviewing whenever I get a chance to release a paperback, Two-Face. Though, in case you're curious though, Penguin has mostly had, over the years... Okay, so the obvious question is this his very first series he's ever had? No! Okay, it was limited series. If you're really curious though, this was only his second ever series. You're thinking, really? Yeah, though Killing Time, apparently this is also kind of considered, basically this is a Nemo book. But I'd say with the Penguin title on it, this only was his second ever one. The first one came out like 13 years ago, called Penguin Pride and Prejudice. I don't think I reviewed this one yet, but that was his very first series he ever had. And he also had one-shots. Oh my gosh, he had several of them. You had One Bad Day one-shot, Joker's Not Penguin. Of course, Penguin Special. Penguin's Foul Play, which is basically something from the one-shot of the 60s. Audio Adventure Special. Secret Origins Volume 2 Number 1. That's somewhat considered Penguin Special because they feature a Penguin story in it. He's had a few one-shots, but probably the most recognizable one-shot is probably Penguin Triumph with this gorgeous cover by Brian Starfleet. John Asman wrote it. It's a really good one-shot. Yeah, but excuse me. All in all, Tom King did a great job. Now, if you're really curious, did the Two-Face book, which did that start pretty much right after It was like one. Let's see. Came out published in December 4th, and the final issue of this book was released in September. So basically, within just 3 months. Yes, pretty much 3 months after the end of the Penguin book, they launched the Two-Face book. Yep, they did. I got it. 3 months is not bad of a wait, and it's not written by Tom King. It's written by Christian Ward. Why did they pick Christian Ward? No idea. The only book he's ever written was Batman City of Madness, which came out about 2 years ago. And he also did one short story for Batman Brave and the Bold Volume 2. Yeah, he did one story for this one, the opening story of issue 18 and issue 8 of Urban Legends. If I were DC Comics, because this issue of... Weird enough, Brave Volume 2 has only had one official paperback release. Oh, they have another one. There's Winning Card, and then you have... Okay, so... Out of Darkness... Looks like this one collects like a lot of the other stories from the first 9 issues. Like, basically only the Winning Card was collected. Now, pretty much you have a trade that collects more. It's supposed to come out April. I think this book is out. Let me take a look about that. Yeah, it came out a month ago, so maybe I could get my hands on it. Who knows? Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much a particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. Next up, I've been killing science for 20 years. I'm maxed out. Okay, let's go.